Hey, confirmation friends. I hope this finds you doing well. This is Thursday, September 14th. So sorry we couldn't get together last night. Who would have imagined that we'd have to cancel our first confirmation class again this year because of COVID? I'm feeling pretty sick right now, having a hard time breathing, and uh, have have the sniffles. So thank you for your patience. Just a few things that we're going to cover last night. We're going to actually spend most of the evening last night out in the garden, harvesting vegetables to deliver to Channel 1 after a brief orientation. So, here's your brief orientation. I'm really excited for another confirmation year with you. For those of you who are entering confirmation for the first time this year, so glad to have you. You'll see that confirmation ministry at People of Hope is a little different than it was if you when it's a little different than when your parents went through confirmation. There's definitely times where I talk a lot, but most of the time is spent in discussion, talking about issues of faith, and me really learning from you, kind of where you are in your faith journey, and maybe offering some insight and support as you try to figure out what it means to be a follower of Christ yourself. This year, we're using a curriculum called Confirm, Not Conform, because we're holding to the tenet that to be confirmed or to claim that the promises of baptism in your life doesn't necessarily mean that you have to believe everything the exact same way that I believe it. Instead, it's making a commitment to kind of spend your life figuring out what those beliefs are, and you confirming that you want to kind of try to figure out what those baptismal promises mean for you and how they might affect your everyday life. We have a series of lessons planned throughout the year. The confirmation calendar, I will distribute a paper copy of that. Uh, sorry, to you next week at our first confirmation class. But you can always see the plan for confirmation on the church calendar. So you can find that calendar by going to our website, www.peopleofhope.com, and find calendar. And you'll see on Wednesday nights, there's different confirmation program things set up. And essentially, there's a few moving components for confirmation. First is the classroom setting or the class itself, where we'll gather at the church from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday nights. I'll present, or Pam Dreyer, who is my team teacher, will present a topic. We'll spend some time engaging in scripture about that topic, and also then just spend time talking about that topic with one another. That those class sessions are one of the largest components of our confirmation ministry. Again, they're from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday nights. I know from raising a very active young person that there are commitments that run up until pretty late on those Wednesday nights. All you can bring your dinner with you. You can do whatever you need to do to be there, but we'd love to see you be there as soon at 6:30 as humanly possible. And know that we will end at 7:30. So if you're a parent who's dropping off your child, please be at the church at 7:30 to pick them up. So that's one component. Two are service project components. The first service project component we have coming up is on September 27th, where we will gather from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. again and pack Lutheran World Relief school kits. Part of living out our Christian faith and identity is of being of service to those in the world. So throughout the course of confirmation, we'll be doing those. Uh, the next service project after that is the second week in October, where we'll do some highway cleanup work together and with other adults from People of Hope as well. The third component of our confirmation ministry that is new this year is that once a month or once every couple of months, we're going to have dinner church together. And that's going to be an opportunity for us to gather in a different way for our Wednesday night worship service, where we'll eat together and then worship together. A very short kind of worship service that's different than our regular Sunday morning offering. These Wednesday worship services are a quote unquote required part of confirmation class. So students will be expected to be there, but families, this would be also a great experience for you to come worship as well. Everyone from the church will be invited. Um, a light meal will be served, and then we'll gather and worship. Then the last big component of confirmation is Lenten mentoring. And that's where our confirmation students will choose a adult mentor from our congregation and journey with them throughout the season of Lent, talking one-on-one about issues of faith and life. Uh, Students will want to start identifying a possible mentor for themselves, and have that person in mind, and then more information will come out about that well before the season of Lent begins. So those are the main components of our confirmation ministry. We take a big break off of meeting in confirmation during the month of December because we offer Advent evening worship services. So know that there will be no confirmation class during the month of December, but we would love for those confirmation students to come and worship on those Wednesday nights with their families. So I know that people talk about what are the requirements for confirmation. At People of Hope, they're really, really limited. First, we expect you to show up to class or to these service events or to these Wednesday night worship services. If you have a conflict, I simply ask that you notify me ahead of time that you won't be there. It's just really helpful in our planning process. It's also helpful to know if someone's going to be gone, that we're not waiting to begin class until they show up, especially when they never show up. So again, you just got to let us know if you're going to miss something. There's no requirement for for sermon notes or anything like that. It's really just being a part of this small group of people who are exploring what it means to be a follower of Jesus. So again, the only real requirement is attendance. Um, and We kind of talked about just briefly about what happens if you can't attend on a Wednesday evening. The culmination of our confirmation ministry, it's not graduation, but the culmination of these 3 years spent searching is Confirmation Sunday. And that is always the last Sunday in October. And during that worship service on that last Sunday of October, we invite our typically ninth grade students to come forward and affirm the baptismal promises that others made on their behalf, as their own. Um, with ninth graders, we'll meet once or twice in the month of October to plan that service together, and then we'll celebrate with those ninth graders on that last Sunday of the month during our regular worship times. For those of you who aren't in ninth grade but who are participating in confirmation, I would ask that you please attend that worship service so you can see what that looks like. So you're prepared for the day when you are confirmed as well. Um, this would be typically be the time where we'd go over the calendar day by day by day. I'll make sure to take some time to do that with the students next Wednesday night when we meet for class. But also, it's a time for you to ask questions. So if you have any questions about our confirmation ministry or what it might look like, simply send me an email and I'll get to them before we meet next Wednesday or even after that. Again, I just really look forward to working with these young people in this ministry. It's one of my favorite things to do, actually. So I'm excited for another year of confirmation. One last thing. Typically, we have two adults with our confirmation students during these Wednesday night gatherings. And there'll be times throughout the year where I might have a conflict if I'm attending a conference or something, or Pam might have a conflict. Pam Dreyer, who's one of our worship leaders, has team taught confirmation with me since coming to People of Hope, and is awesome. But there'll be some times where she might have to travel as well. If we know that ahead of time, we'll reach out to our confirmation students and ask that a parent just show up and be present while we have confirmation class. This is just a safety protocol that we have in place. If a kid gets sick and I have to be with a child, we want or a student, we want the other students to feel supported by another adult, things like that. So know that we'll reach out and ask for volunteers on a kind of not a regular basis, but when we need to. And if you would be willing to answer that call to come sit in class with us, that would be great. Again, ooh, that's a lot of talking, and I'm starting to get a little lightheaded. So I'm going to stop this video. If you have any questions, please just reach out via email, Pastor Dan at peopleofhope.com. And I'll look forward to seeing you next Wednesday evening. So that's September 20th at 6:30 p.m. in the People of Hope gathering area. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless.